What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggle's TV Daily Rewind. It's where we go back a week and give you all of your news from the past 7 days in one single video. Now, if you see a few of my videos later on in this video, you're going to notice I am in a different place. I was in Sonoma for 4 days, I think I was. And now I'm back in San Diego. And this week was really, really good because we talked about the Galaxy Z Fold 4. It went and got a ton of new updates on the beta side for One UI 5 and eventually maybe even the real update. We also talked about the Galaxy Z Fold 4 crunching sound that you might hear, iPhone, Apple going through some alleged privacy issues, and so much more. So enjoy this week, and we'll see you in the next one. First story of the day has to do with the Galaxy Z Fold 4. I'm on the One UI 5 beta. They pushed out another update this week. I'm going to read it to you. So basically, bugs that have been fixed. For the flip, the screen blinks while running the screen comfortably at low light. Fold, overlapping keyboard in horizontal mode. The music widget is expanded on the lock screen while using Good Lock, not searched with file name in My Files. System UI ANR. Camera app update, flip crash occurs when you open as soon as you run the lock setting status. Camera Pro video, memory lock problem, other minor bug fixes. I think I don't have any of those issues, at least that I noticed. For me, the only issue I'm currently having is that YouTube won't, go to landscape mode. It's stuck in like portrait mode, so I always have to hit the button to do it. And I know you're gonna ask me, I have auto rotate turned on, but for some reason my videos just like won't rotate, so I always have to press that button. I think that's a bug within the beta, but other than that, it's been running great, no problems at all. And keep pushing these updates out, Samsung. You seem to be doing them every single week. Next up is a new Samsung Good Lock module that is out, and it is available for download. I checked on my Samsung Good Lock on my Z Fold 4, and I can download it, which is amazing. And I'm gonna do a full video on it. I plan on doing it tomorrow, so I'll record it today, release it tomorrow, give you a full walkthrough on it, but let's just kind of go through it. So first of all, one of the big things with this is you can configure settings home wherever or however you want. So you can configure your home settings however you want. You can place frequently used menus at the top and hide unnecessary menus. That's cool. Check the settings change history. Ooh, I like that. Various settings search options are provided. Back tap action, so you can change your back tap action, double tap it. Side key press and hold action, you can change that to a bunch of different things. Force touch action, and that's pretty much it. But again, I plan on doing a video and I will release that tomorrow. If something changes, then whatever, I won't release it, but I do plan on having that be my video for tomorrow if you want a full walkthrough on it. But in the meantime, you can download it in Samsung Good Lock app. Next up, as you can see from this tweet from Ice Universe, we're gonna be getting exactly what we were looking for. So on the Galaxy S23 Ultra, we know that it has a 200 megapixel camera, and there were some concerns that we're gonna be able to use 50 megapixels, and it seems like that will be an option on the Galaxy S23 Ultra. It's kind of thrown up in the air, but it looks like it's definitely an option per Ice Universe. The other one that's coming out of this is that the Z Fold 5 will not be as light, but it might be light still than what we have now, will not be as light as the Oppo Find N2. Oppo Find N2 is supposed to be the lightest foldable phone when it comes out later, I think next year, so 2023. So not a huge deal. I'm used to the weight of even the Z Fold 4, but if you can make it lighter, I'll be happy with that. And then the Oppo Find N2, just to be fair, is a smaller folding phone, so that obviously helps with the weight being less, so keep that in mind. But it's really more about going through the Galaxy S23 Ultra and some of the things you should know or expect. If you haven't been following along through the last few weeks, some of this will be reiteration, some of this will be some finer points about the device overall, and let's just talk about it. So the Galaxy S23 Ultra, first of all, we've heard it's going to come out kind of early. One of the news reports is putting out that the launch of this phone will be in the first week of February, and then from there it will launch 2 weeks later. So you're looking at the middle of February for the most part of when that would come out. So that ends up being somewhere about 3 to 4 weeks earlier than usual, which if you love to get phones, really quickly and not have to wait so long, that's gonna be a good thing. Or if you're in need of an upgrade, I should say, for your phone, then that's another good thing that's gonna come out. So yeah, an earlier release date, earlier launch than usual for the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Another big one for me on this one is worldwide. This Galaxy S23 phone, 23, 23 Plus, 23 Ultra, is due to have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 worldwide, which is fantastic for people, because if you're stuck in that Exynos world in the past where Samsung's phones either don't perform as well or overheat or whatever the reason, versus the Snapdragon almost always outperforms the Exynos, especially lately. And then the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is just a huge performer. It is beating the iPhone, which was the king of the multi-core score. It now beats the multi-core score of the iPhone. And then it just by percentage points, 15, 20, 30%, somewhere in that range, will beat last generation's Snapdragon processors as well, and have good reliability with battery life and all that. So it's looking like a really nice upgrade. And again, that Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 will be the worldwide processor for the Galaxy S23 line of phones. 200 megapixel camera on the back, which is a big upgrade from, at least in megapixels anyway, it's a big upgrade versus the 108 that they've used the last few years. Now you've also we've heard that they're gonna have better night mode, better night mode quality. The quality of the photos in general should be better as well, with new AI enhancements to the software for the new Galaxy S23 Ultra, and just better quality photos in general when you use that phone, because it does have a higher megapixel, meaning you can zoom in closer and not lose as much quality on that camera. Other bits of information on there are the similar design to last year of the Galaxy S22 phones. Shouldn't be that much of a big difference change. You're still going to get the S Pen integration. You're still going to get a similar body type with a similar camera setup. One of the bigger changes that's supposed to come to the design is the front display is supposed to be a little bit flatter versus the curved, slightly more curved display on the S22 Ultra. So that would be, for me, a big takeaway, but it's not going to be as flat as the iPhone, it seems. But in general, very similar design, and that's pretty much it in terms of what we know. You should get similar charging speeds, up to 45 watts. Storage is going to be 128, 256, and probably 512, maybe up to 1 terabyte. RAM should be 12 gigs of RAM. You're not going to see a whole lot of changes in those regards. It's just more of the stuff that I kind of pointed out. Probably more for the international person, especially if you're able to get the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 versus maybe you had an Exynos a year or two ago on the Galaxy phone you had. First story of the day is pretty freaking wild. This is a foldable iPhone. Now, I said foldable iPhone. As you know, there's no foldable iPhone, but someone made a foldable iPhone. This is what they did. Someone from China took his Apple iPhone and turned it into a working foldable phone using the Motorola Razr 2020 model hinges. And ultimately what he does with that, you can see it's like he basically took that iPhone and turned it into a flip phone, just like akin to a Galaxy Z Flip. Now, it looks like he's really struggling too when he's closing. He's like, he's really struggling to get that damn thing closed. But it's still kind of cool. Obviously, this isn't a real product. It's something real he made, but it's not a real product Apple's releasing just yet. But I can see if Apple did something like this, I can probably almost guarantee it would sell like crazy. What do you guys think? Do you think this is cool? Do you think it's lame? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up comes from Chun. He's saying that alongside a slightly thicker bezel, the regular S23 might cut out the vibration motor. Do you think Samsung should downgrade the vibration motor on the S23? Now, he kind of writes a contradictory line there, saying they're cutting it out, and then he also says, what if they downgrade it? So I'm assuming it's lost in translation of some sort, because I believe his first language is Vietnamese. I could be wrong. I'm assuming what he's talking about is that the S23 will have a vibration motor, but it'll be downgraded. So it's not going to completely lose it, it sounds like. It just will be like maybe not as forceful or as impactful when you use the phone. I'll be honest, with me, I could I don't really care if there's a vibration mode. If it saved $100, I'd say take it out. I almost never use it on my phone. I don't use it for force feedback when I'm using the phone or to get notifications. I just don't do it. I don't use it. So for me, it's not a big deal at all, but for someone that loves having a vibration motor in the phone, if it gets downgraded, would that upset you? Let me know your thoughts. If you're looking to get into content creation and you don't own a computer and you want to edit everything on your phone, this is a freaking awesome app to get. It's just came out for Android. It's called LumaFusion. It's been on Apple for a while, iPhones and iPads, and now you can get it now. I'll link it down below. You can get it on the Galaxy Store and you can get it on the Android Store. I already bought it from mine. I own it on iOS. I don't use it that much, but it's good to own. And at $20, trust me, it's a steal. I know it seems expensive, but it's an amazing, amazing app. The other cool thing about this app, again, this is for video editing. The other cool thing about this app is that, at least the price anyway, is that it's a introductory price, so it will go up. I think it'll go up to 25 or 30 bucks. So if you're thinking about getting into video editing and you want to get into content creation more so, especially on the YouTube side, get this app. And our last story of the day has to do with, as you can see, the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro. Roland Quan is saying Google has 2 new devices in the works, codenamed Husky and Sheba. Both have a new SoC codenamed Zuma, plenty of RAM, and proper high-res displays. And he goes on to say basically that if these end up being the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro, which is really soon because Pixel 7 and 7 Pro just came out, and you got to figure the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro will probably come out in October, that basically they're looking quite similar. So the processor inside is going to be their Tensor G3 processor, which is really from Samsung, which is probably going to end up being the Exynos 2300, but codenamed with what Google wants and maybe customized a little bit for Google. Also 12 gigabytes of RAM in both versions, it seems like, on the 8 and 8 Pro. Right now, the 7 and 7 Pro, the 7 has 8 gigs, the 7 Pro has 12 gigs. And then for resolutions, you're looking again at 1080p plus and 2K plus resolutions on the 8 and 8 Pro respectively. So quite similar in some aspects, at least in the general specs of what we've known so far through his article. And it's quite interesting that we're already potentially getting information about the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro because it's still a year away. But the story of the day has to do with Bixby. If you love or hate Bixby, you might want to know what's going on with Bixby. It looks like it's not dead. Now, this tweet comes from Chun, who's saying One UI 5.1 will bring some improvements to Bixby. Says no clue the improvement details, but as of now, Bixby is not dead. So I don't really use Bixby. It's a non-thing for me. It doesn't make it great, doesn't make it bad. I just don't use it. I wish, if it was my choice, I'd probably choose for Samsung to allocate those people to somewhere else on the Samsung side, either on the hardware side or the software, or somewhere else more so on the software side, I guess, to improve something else. Let me know your thoughts on that. And our last story of the day has to do with the Galaxy S23 Ultra and the cameras that are going to be used. This is kind of like, inside talk of something you probably wouldn't know or don't really care at the end of the day, but I always find it interesting to know, what parts are being used inside of what phone. And that's what this is, because if you didn't know, when you buy a Samsung phone, not every part is from Samsung. Obviously, the processor's not, because it's usually a Snapdragon lately, and that's from Qualcomm. But what about the other parts, especially with the cameras we're gonna talk about. Who makes the cameras for this phone? So, well, here it is. So the information that are leaked out from the Elec, which Anthony the Galax has so nicely put in a tweet for us, is the following. So the 200 megapixel camera is a Samsung electromechanics camera. So that is made by Samsung. The 12 megapixel ultra wide and 10 megapixel 10x optical are from Sunny Optical, Namuga, and Samsung. So it's made by, looks like 3 different companies there that potentially you'll get with those other cameras. The 10 megapixel 3x optical can also be made by Parton and Mechnex, which is not Samsung. And then the selfie is either made by, or is, I guess, Namuga and Power Logic. So some of the cameras, or at least 1 or 2 of the cameras are potentially made from Samsung. The others are from other companies. So it begs the question, why aren't all the cameras made from Samsung, especially some of those other ones? And Samsung's making the main one, but why not the ultra wide? It's kind of weird. We only got one story today, and I'm still in Sonoma. As you can see, hopefully, I'm in Sonoma at the hotel still. Beautiful fall day. You get some beautiful fall colors here, which is awesome. Not so much where I live, because this place has, where I live, it's more deserty. This is more, I don't know, normal kind of neighborhood that you would think about in America in a way. And you got some of those cool trees that they have here that do change colors. But without further ado, let's just get into the one story we have today, and it is all about Galaxy Z Fold 4 finally getting One UI 5. I got it yesterday, and the update for me wasn't that big. It was actually pretty small because I already have One UI 5. I had the beta, so they basically just made mine official. But you should get it. It should be a little over 3 gigabytes, I believe, in file size. It's huge. So be prepared to have a fast Wi-Fi internet connection, and it's going to take a bit to install as well. But for me, this is what it said. It said, we're grateful for all of your positive and active participation in the One UI beta program. After completion of the beta program, we are not going to release any new betas. We no longer are going to provide any official reply to your opinion. So basically, they turned my beta into the official launch of the phone for the One UI 5. So if you've been waiting for it, go check for it. You probably have it. It's out for almost all the major phones that they have, the Z Flip 4, Fold 4, a bunch of the S20, 21, 22, all those phones. So check out for it. You're not going to notice a lot of changes in terms of what you get with it, in terms of like a physical change. It's a lot of stuff under the hood. Couple things are changed, but not a whole lot. So don't expect something like that. So I guess if you wanted to wait, you're not really probably missing anything. But if you want to grab it, it should be out there for you at this point. Kind of a slow news day today. So what I did is I found a story on Reddit, because I think it'll be helpful for people that have a Galaxy Z Fold 4 and some issues they might be going through overall with the phone, in terms of when you open up your Galaxy Z Fold 4, it might have a crunching sound. Like, why does it have that crunching sound? I'll play a little video right now. And you can hear the crunching sound. I don't personally have this issue, which I'm actually really happy. I never had it with any of my Galaxy Z Fold phones. And I guess it's been fixed for the most part on the Galaxy Z Fold 4, but it's still an issue that people have. And it's coming to the point where, why is it happening? Is my phone broken and all of that? And first of all, let's answer, is the phone broken? No. But it seems like something has got into the hinge. What happens is, the hinge has like these brushes, and these brushes make this crackling sound when you open it. And it doesn't happen to everybody. It happens to some people. I'm not sure why it happens, but it's not enough to get your phone fixed from Samsung for free. You can't fix it yourself. At least nobody knows how to fix it yet. So that's how it comes into play when you have that issue. So if you have that issue, you kind of just have to deal with it, unfortunately. Other than that, it shouldn't be an issue in terms of like, there's nothing wrong with your phone. There's no way to fix it. Your phone will still function perfectly. So you don't have any of those problems with it. But if you're curious, or if you were the only one that actually had that issue, you are not. So that's the good thing. And the other part is, again, it's not broken. So why fix it? I'm doing this in the bathroom. It's really late right now, and I do not have time to do this tomorrow because I have a flight to go back to San Diego. So I have to do this now, and it's too dark outside. So I thought I'd do it in my beautiful bathroom here at the hotel in Sonoma, California. And we've got a huge story for you. Gizmodo has found out some information allegedly on Apple breaking their privacy and collecting data, harvesting as they put it. So let's just go into this article that they talk about all of this, because Apple, if you know, is one of those companies that's like, hey, you want to be private and we don't check up on anything, and you can block everybody else from doing the same thing, and you can block even us from collecting data about you, but check this out. So as you can see, the headline from Gizmodo says, Apple sued for allegedly deceiving users with privacy settings after a Gizmodo story. And then right below that, it says, researchers found that Apple collects iPhone data even when the company's own iPhone analytics. It says the suit filed Thursday in California federal court comes days after Gizmodo's exclusive report on research into showing iPhone apps send Apple analytics data regardless of whether the iPhone analytics setting is turned on or off. The problem was spotted by 2 independent researchers at a software company, Misk, who found that the Apple App Store sends the company exhaustive information about nearly everything a user does in the app, despite a privacy setting, iPhone analytics, which claim to disable the sharing of device analytics together when switched off. Now, this is a pretty big story. It goes back to what I just said about Apple saying, we don't collect this, you can block this. And this just goes to show you that allegedly they don't live up to the claim of what they say. Now, to be fair with Apple, App Store, that's probably one of the least places I'd be kind of worried about Apple collecting data on me. Sure, they know what apps I download, but they kind of already do anyway, and search for based off of the fact that they save that data for me. I'd be more worried about if they're harvesting, text messages or harvesting emails, and they're sending that back to the server, and they can see everything I like and say and do and have coming up in my life in that kind of data. But still, to go back, if you're a company and you're saying, you can turn off certain things so that people can't collect data on you, and then you yourself go and collect that data even though it's turned off, that's a loss of privacy, and that's a bad thing. So I'm really curious where this ends up going at this point. But what do you guys think? How do you feel about this? Let me know in the comments down below. If the audio is weird, sorry, I am literally in a bathroom. So it's the best I could do at this point. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you down the road.